won't be able to get to all of them, but I've left them for you. So signifying, this game that he references in the text, this game that they're playing, refers to a complex form of communication that involves indirect expression, often using irony, metaphor, and wordplay. There are two forms of signifying. Play in the dozens, for instance, your mama joke. Your mama sent her picture to the Lonely Hearts Club, but they sent it back and said, we ain't that lonely. And number two, trading 12s. Change the joke to slip the yoke. It is the transfer of knowledge from one generation to another. Signifying is verbal communion with allies and verbal combat with enemies. Again, verbal communion with allies and verbal combat with enemies. So we see in the scene that these individuals are making jokes in verbal combat with not only Norton as a figure of white local authority, but also the institutional authority rooted in supercargo and the rest of the institutions attempting to suppress their knowledge and information. This was the verbal combat that the grandfather advised. It is always important to go back to the text and see exactly what the grandfather is telling him, because he's not telling him to be subservient, he's telling him to signify. He told the invisible man to signify, agree them to death and destruction. He could have just said, son, be subservient. Just do what white people say. He could have said, if you ever get into a car with a white man who is a trustee, you should probably try to impress them. That's not what he says. Because he's a vet and a spy, and he's in a battle. And a part of that battle is the ability to signify. He's telling him early on from the first pages, this war and this battle will be fought on our cultural terms, if you can understand that. All right. According to Dr. Henry Louis Gates in his text, The Signifying Monkey, the practice of signifying derived from the trickster archetype found in much African mythology, especially Eshu Elegba in the Yoruba mythology. Also folklore and religion, the god, goddess, spirit, man, woman, and anthropomorphic animal who plays tricks or otherwise disembodies normal rules and societal norms. Elegba, also known as Eshu, embodies the trickster archetype in the Yoruba mythology. He serves as a mediator between humanity and the divine, representing the complexities of fate and communion. I need to make this point to you. These Africans do not lose their religion. Do you understand? They do not lose their religion. This whole mythology, right? That slavery destroyed Black culture is a mythology. It is not true. It has never been true. It will never be true. Most things that Black people do are rooted in their African past, from the way they say things to how they say things to the way they actually create non-conjunctive verb and object agreement. There's so many. The book Africanisms by Joseph Holloway lays out the whole case. Okay. Yes, Eshu Elegba is this figure. As a trickster, Elegba is characterized by his unpredictability, cleverness, and the ability to navigate between different realms. He has many key features. And what is interesting about Elegba is that Native Americans and indigenous people the world over believe in and have constructed similar trickster figures as gods.